What's up, everybody? Zach here with the NerdCave, and it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It is time for some car thoughts. Hope everyone is doing well today. Y'all let me know how you are down in the comments below. We're on our way. We're getting things done this morning. We're getting things done. Had a good weekend. It was mine and Amy's 7-year anniversary. Put some GGs down in the chat, y'all, because 7 years, that's a long time. That's a long time. But I am excited because I have married my best friend. I'm going to be a little bit sappy right this second. Amy is awesome, and I'm very, very thankful for her. So put some dubs, some GGs, whatever down in the chat. 7 years, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. This week, we've got a lot of good stuff. We've got NerdCave news on Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Time, and we should be having Eat, Sleep, Anime on Saturday. I will get y'all a time for that, probably, I'm going to say around 11. That's where we did it last time. This will be on patreon.com/nerdcave exclusively for the next 2 weeks. So if you want to be a part of the live discussion where we'll be taking your comments, your thoughts onto the live stream, you got to be there or you're not going to be able to be a part of it. You're going to be watching it afterwards. So be there, be a part of it, because it is much appreciated when you are there and supporting us over on patreon.com. It helps us be able to keep making shows like Car Thoughts, like NerdCave News, like Eat, Sleep, Anime, and all the other cool stuff that we're working on right now. But let's move on to the topic of today. And the big thing that I want to talk about is the Elden Ring DLC. And people are like, Zach, you played the Elden Ring DLC? No, I did not. But I want to talk about people complaining about the Elden Ring DLC. From Software makes hard games. And I think everybody in the gaming world, even if you don't really know that much about gaming, you probably know that Elden Ring is really difficult. You know, regardless, it is very, very difficult. And I think a lot of people know this. And when the Elden Ring came out, Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erdtree came out this past week on the 20th, so many people started complaining about it being too difficult. And for the people that are out there that have played Shadow of the Erdtree, you chimed in down in the comments below, because the thing that gets me is people are like, oh, get good, get good, get good. And then when they're not good, then they start complaining. And this is, again, a vocal minority. And I understand when a game isn't quote-unquote fair, but these games aren't meant to be fair, in my opinion. Like, these games are meant to make you really work after beating a boss. Like, the only one that I've really put any time into is Lies of P, which I really enjoyed, but it was just sucking up too much time for me. But a lot of people are complaining that this game is too difficult, and I know that there are some things that you got to collect or whatever to be able to level up to make the bosses a little bit easier in the DLC. I don't know what they're called. Dewdrops, whatever, I don't know. You can look it up. From Software even put out a tweet about this. But what gets me is, again, it's all of these people that are literally going on Steam and complaining about the game and dropping the rating, the overall rating for the DLC, or even Elden Ring, Shadow Ring. There you go. There's Shadow the Hedgehog, Elden Ring, From Software, Souls-like for you, Shadow Ring. But they dropped the rating down to mid because people are complaining so much. And again, I am not played the game. I am not going to play the game. But I know that there are people that really love the Souls-like games, and that I respect their opinion, and they're like, this game's great. You know, this game is a ton of fun. And I'm wondering, it's like, are people just trying to use the same tactics or whatever it is? You know, and it's like, you've had 2 years to really understand. And I like that From Software. I'm going to just shout out From Software's team, Miyazaki and everybody over there. One, because they're sticking to a vision. But two, it's not them resting on their laurels. It's not just like they banged out a quick DLC, which a lot of studios do. A lot of studios do this, where they just make a quick DLC 6 months after, and then they're done with the game. From Software actually took the time, took like 2 years and like 5-6 months to work on DLC that's actually really, really good. There's a lot to it. There's a lot to explore and everything. But people are expecting, oh, it's just going to be just like more Elden Ring. And it is, but there is a challenge to it. It's not you're just going in there and it's like you're just picking up, like you're in a different place. You're in the shadow of the Earth tree or whatever. I have no idea. Like, you have to realize it's like when people actually care about what they're crafting, they're going to make the experience really, really good. And I think that's what we're getting here with Shadow of the Earth Tree. It's like, yeah, you might be coming in, you're decked out to the nines, and then you're still getting crushed by these new enemies. It's because they want to make it challenging. They want to make you squirm. They want to make you just have to try and quote unquote get good, son. And that is what From Software is about. And again, I understand if there are technical issues. That is annoying. Technical issues are always annoying. And I am never a fan of technical issues in a game. There's always going to be something. There's going to be something that happens. But, you know, if it's pop in, that sort of stuff, as long as it's not affecting combat, you know, it sucks, but it is what it is. But when you get down to it, it's like, okay, the boss, I read someone's review, it's like, oh, the bosses are sporadic. You can't really predict what they're doing. And it's like, I don't know what the vision is there on that, but it's, you think about it, it's like From Software always has really well crafted boss battles. Like, they have some sort of thought process behind what they're doing with their boss battles. It's not just simple, you know, oh, he's going to swing 3 times this way and then a heavy attack. Like, they're very well thought out. And again, this is coming from somebody that just watches this stuff on the sideline. Like, Souls games, either From Software or other developers, are always really, really interesting. Like, they look really, really cool. The stories look very intriguing. It's the punishing nature that I'm just not about. I'm saying all of this to say, when you are a fan of a game that is known for being brutal, and then you get DLC, and then you complain about that DLC being brutal, it's like, what did you expect? I'm just over here, I'm like, what did you expect going into this? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's what I kind of feel here. It would be like, well, I didn't know I was going to get electrocuted by putting this fork into a light socket. I didn't know that was going to happen. It's like, you kind of know, you know, oh, I didn't know I was going to burn my hand on the stove if I turned it on and then put my hand on the eye of the stove. It's that kind of thinking. And again, I haven't played it. There might be some technical issues that need to be polished or whatever. I don't feel like From Software is like bad about that overall, but again, I'm not one that's playing it. I'm just looking on an outsider's perspective of all of this, and all the get good people are complaining about having to get good or getting just trounced by these new adversaries and everything. And then some people complaining, oh, well, to access the DLC, you got to beat these 2 bosses before you can get to it. And it's like, they've known about this for 2 years. You know, it's like you've known that, you know, you've had time and these are some harder bosses or whatever. And it's like, okay, if you've got to fight these harder bosses to get into this new area, that should probably signal something to you that this new area is not going to be a joke. You know, these are optional bosses that are difficult. And it's like, I'm just saying, it's like, do you know what you're doing? You know what I mean? But it's like, I think it's the people going in and complaining that gets me. You know what I mean? This is not a Mass Effect 3 issue where you get to the end of the game and it's utterly dissatisfying. It's it's people complaining about the inherent nature of Elden Ring and From Software's games that, oh, this is really difficult. Like, the bosses are just demolishing me. And it's like, that's what you're paying for. That's what you're paying for. There's restaurants, I can't remember their name, but you go into these restaurants and the waiters are literally paid not only to, you know, wait on you, but to literally insult you and be mean to you. It would be like going into that restaurant expecting a sommelier, expecting people to just, you know, really treat you well. And that is your expectation, but then you sit down and they start making fun of you. They start, you know, just going after you in every single way, making fun of the way you talk, the way you look, whatever. And you're like, why are they being so mean to me? That's the Elden Ring community right now. And I know I'm just throwing fuel on the fire this morning, but that's like going from this game that is, you know, had a very positive rating to mid. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy where this has already sold like 25 million copies. The DLC alone has sold 25 million copies. And then it's like people are complaining because the game is hard. It's like, that's drinking water and complaining that it's wet. Is water wet? I'll put it down in the comments. I hope that I'm making sense, because this kind of like logic, it's like people want to complain about everything. It's like, you know, if you're jealous, you're going to find reasons why. You're going to find the evidence why to be jealous, or you know what I mean? Like you're going to find the reasons why to complain. If you want to complain, you will find reasons to complain. And that's what I feel like Elden Ring right now is going through. And I love that From Software is just kind of standing their ground. They're just like, hey, it's a difficult game. You should probably get these, I don't know what they're called, dewdrops, whatever. You need to get those so you can actually be able to compete with these bosses. You know? And it's like, all right, the developer of the game is telling you that you need to do X, Y, and Z to be able to A, access the new DLC, which again is 2 challenging optional bosses, and B, to be able to compete in this new realm, you have to get these things and you have to level up through that. You might have the best gear, you might, you know, have beaten Melania or whatever her name is a bajillion times. You might be able to crush everybody in the regular game, and now you're just getting trounced. Is because you're not using, it's like going to a new country and you might have $1 million in the bank. It's USD. You've got $1 million American dollars, but you go to a different country and you haven't exchanged any of the currency that you have into their currency. They're not going to take your money. It's useless. It's absolutely useless to them, because they're not going to go out of their way to exchange the money that you have. Okay? That's what Elden Ring is doing right here. It's like your currency, no longer useful. You're almost, like, you're not starting from zero. Okay, you're coming in with the skills, the knowledge that you've developed, but it's a next level competition. All right, it's like, think about Dragon Ball Z here. World tournament back in Dragon Ball day. Nobody was flying around shooting ki blasts until later on. It was more martial arts. And then you got, Piccolo and Goku fighting, Piccolo Jr. Back then, fighting, and you get, ki blasts, you get the Kamehameha wave, you get all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, wow, that's a whole different thing. And then you get the other world tournament where Goku is fighting like Pikkon and all of this. If you're not a Dragon Ball Z fan, you don't know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is, you're in a different arena. You're in a different style. It's not just about martial arts. And then you get like the Tournament of Power. There's a few tournaments in Dragon Ball Super, but you get the Tournament of Power, and all of these people are on such a high level of combat that the basic stuff, just martial arts, isn't going to do it. That's the barrier to entry. The barrier to entry. Okay? You've got to have the wits that you've built over the time that you've battled. You've got to be able to know how to read your enemies, all this kind of stuff. And then you got to go beyond. You got to go plus ultra here. Bringing some My Hero Academia again, Eat Sleep Anime on Saturday. You got to go beyond. You got to go Ultra Instinct here so you can actually defeat these opponents. This isn't just your run of the mill. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't just like pushovers. So there's a little Dragon Ball Z reference here, okay? It's not just the martial arts tournament back in the day where you got these normies, all they got is a few punches and kicks. That's all they really know. They might got a little bit of power behind their punch, but that's it. You're talking about like the just Mac Daddies over here, okay? Over in the shadow of the Erd Tree. So, from a non-Souls-like player, when people are complaining, I'm like, this is what you signed up for. Like, I don't know what your deal is. Now, some of you might come in the comments and be like, Zach, the DLC has so many bugs. People are, appearing, disappearing, or whatever. It's like, well, I haven't read anything about that. And I've read a few articles about, the whole review and people like bombing it or whatever. And it's like, okay, I feel like I don't know why that big truck was like putting on a Jake brake when he was literally rolling at like 5 miles an hour. Way to choke your truck out. People are like, what's a Jake brake? Anyway, that's why we do this in Car Thoughts, guys. But what I'm saying is, like, if that's the issue, 100% understand if From Software is putting something out that is not up to the quality and standard that they are known for. That is something entirely different, in my opinion. Okay? Entirely different. It's all these people are difficult. So I'm going to give this a negative review. It's like, again, going back to that restaurant, why are these people being mean to me? But you went to the restaurant knowing that they're going to be mean to you. Like, these people are going to be mean to you. And you expect them to treat you like you're at Disney. It's just not how it goes. It's not how it goes. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your opinions about this because I think it's important to have a discourse about this. I want to know from the people that have been playing it or watching people play it, whatever it is, it's like, is it like, yes, I already know that it's way more difficult than it was originally from the base game. But is it so difficult that you can't play it? You can't enjoy it? I want to know about that. I want to know your thoughts, your opinions. Oh, we got a motorcycle man going by. Like, again, this is from my uneducated look as an outsider. People complaining about a hard game being hard is kind of part of it. Let's be honest. It's kind of part of it. but it's the people that are like the get good people now that are complaining that they're not good enough, and they're not. I don't know. It just boggles my mind. It just boggles my mind. So y'all let me know what you think in the comments below. For this week, we've got Nerd Cave news on Thursday. Saturday, we have Eat Sleep Anime. Again, I will get you a time for that. I'm really looking forward to this because I've been eating. I was talking to Amy last night about this. I've watched like 11 different shows / one movie. I've finished a few shows since our last episode. So I got a lot to talk about. I know Derek has been watching some as well. We're going to be talking about Solo Leveling, which I'm really, really excited to kind of delve into, which is a really, really cool anime if you've not watched it. I want to say it's a Korean manga that had got picked up and everything. It was like on the web for free, and then it got picked up because it got so popular and everything. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about Kaiju number 8, which I've really, really been enjoying. I'm going to talk about Vinland Saga. I finished season 2. So we got a lot to talk about on Eat Sleep Anime. Again, if you want to be part of the live stream, go over to patreon.com. Any tier, you get to watch the live stream on Patreon with us. Your comments, all of that will be brought into the show, which I love. I love getting to do that. I love getting to have people a part of the live streams. That's the whole reason to do them live. You know what I mean? So we're going to be doing that. And go and check out Amy's latest video. She's talking about her favorite fantasy books. And if you are looking for some fantasy books to get into, this is a perfect video for you. I don't know why I keep putting it down. This is a perfect video for you to see what books to get you started in. You know, get you into some worlds that are very interesting, that, you know, people can just really sink their teeth into. Because Amy and I, we're both big into fantasy, but Amy really, really like lives in those fantasy worlds. She really dives deep into those. That's her bread and butter. She does romances and a little bit of sci-fi, but fantasy is definitely the genre that she goes hard after. So go check her video out. It'll be the end show card and everything. But guys, thank y'all for being here. I hope y'all are enjoying Car Thoughts. We do this each Tuesday as I go to work, and you know, I just share some thoughts on a particular topic that I'm thinking about that morning, whatever it may be. It might be my weekend or AI or a book that I'm reading. So if there's a topic that you would like me to discuss, please let me know. And if I find it interesting and something that I can literally ramble on for 20 minutes plus, I would be happy to do it. But guys, that is going to do it for us on this Car Thoughts. Again, I will see you Thursday as, come on camera, my face is over here. There we go. I will see you Thursday. I'll see you Thursday on Nerd Cave News. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Love you. Bye-bye.